There's a psychological secret that every powerful man in Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and corporate boardrooms knows. But 73% of leaders will die without ever discovering it. Right now, while you're watching this, someone in your workplace is using Machiavelli's forbidden psychology against you. They're climbing the ladder using your own niceness as their stepping stone. But here's the disturbing part that will make your blood boil. In the next 13 minutes, I'll expose exactly why being nice is psychological suicide in leadership. Reveal the 5 dark psychology triggers that separate alpha leaders from beta followers. And show you the Machiavellian mind hack that can transform how people see you in just 48 hours. But first, you need to understand what happened to Marcus, and why it's probably happening to you right now. Marcus was the nice guy, manager everyone claimed to love. 10 years of experience, an MBA from a top school, always helped his team, never raised his voice. He thought kindness was strength. He thought fairness was leadership. He was wrong about everything. When the senior director position opened up, Marcus was confident. His performance reviews were stellar. His team loved him. His boss always praised his collaborative style. But the promotion went to David, a guy with half the experience who seemed less qualified but somehow commanded instant respect from executives. What Marcus didn't know was that he was fighting psychological warfare with the wrong weapons. See, while Marcus was being nice, David was applying principles that Machiavelli wrote about 500 years ago. Principles that modern neuroscience has now proven trigger specific responses in the human brain. But the story gets much darker and more personal. Here's what research from Harvard Business School reveals. Your brain has an ancient dominance detection system that evolved over millions of years. This system automatically scans for leadership signals in every interaction. There are 2 types of authority it recognizes: respect-based and fear-based. Nice leaders accidentally trigger neither. Instead, they create what neuroscientists call authority confusion. People literally don't know how to categorize you in the social hierarchy. Your brain files you under helper or supporter, never leader. But this is where the psychology gets really disturbing. Recent research analyzing 289 workplace leaders across multiple industries found something that should terrify every nice guy in management. Leaders with strategic Machiavellian traits, not the manipulative sociopaths, but the strategically intelligent ones, achieved 77% higher team engagement, were promoted 3.2 times faster, and earned an average of $47,000 more per year than their nice counterparts. But why does this happen? What's the exact psychological mechanism? And more importantly, how is this affecting your career right now without you even realizing it? The answer involves a 500-year-old psychological principle that will change how you see every workplace interaction forever. Here's the truth that HR departments don't want you to discover. Your brain is evolutionarily wired to respect strength, not kindness. When you're consistently nice, you trigger what evolutionary psychologists call the caretaker response. People want to protect you, not follow you. This is why everything you've been taught about modern leadership is psychological manipulation designed to keep you weak. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, when, of the 2, either must be dispensed with." But here's what 99% of people completely misunderstand about this quote. He didn't mean feared like a tyrant or a bully. He meant feared like a thunderstorm. Powerful, undeniable, commanding respect through raw capability, but not malicious or cruel. Back to Marcus. While he was asking, "How can I help?" in every meeting, David was making statements. While Marcus was saying, "What do you think we should do?" David was saying, "Here's what we're going to do." Same intelligence, same competence, but completely different psychological positioning. But there's something even more shocking about the neuroscience behind this. The study I mentioned earlier discovered a 0.772 correlation between Machiavellian leadership traits and workplace authority recognition. But here's the part that will completely reshape how you think about power. It has nothing to do with manipulation or being cruel. It's about understanding how the human brain processes dominance signals. Let me break down the exact psychological mechanism. Your brain contains what neuroscientists call the social dominance network, a cluster of neurons that automatically evaluate every person you meet for their position in the hierarchy. This system looks for three specific signals: unpredictability, keeps attention; competence display, demonstrates value; and boundary enforcement, shows strength. Nice leaders fail at all three. They're predictably accommodating, they downplay their competence to seem humble, and they avoid enforcing boundaries to keep people happy. But here's the most shocking discovery of all. The reason Marcus lost his promotion wasn't because he lacked qualifications. It was because every interaction with his boss triggered the wrong neural pathways. His niceness activated his boss's protective instincts, not leadership recognition systems. His boss's brain literally couldn't categorize him as executive material because all the psychological signals were wrong. Meanwhile, David's strategic approach, what psychologists call benevolent dominance, triggered respect responses automatically, not through manipulation, but through proper psychological positioning. Now here's exactly how you can rewire these responses in your favor. I'm going to give you the exact 5 psychological principles that reprogram how people's brains automatically categorize you. These aren't manipulation tactics, they're strategic psychology applications that create authentic authority. But before I reveal principle number 1, understand this. This single principle alone will transform every professional relationship you have within 30 days. Principle 1. Strategic scarcity psychology. Stop giving automatic approval and praise. Research shows that when your positive feedback becomes earned rather than freely given, it carries 847% more psychological impact. This isn't about being mean or withholding recognition. It's about making your approval strategically valuable. Marcus gave praise constantly, so it became meaningless. David gave specific, earned recognition, so every piece of feedback carried weight. Same information, completely different psychological impact, but here's where 90% of men completely destroy this principle. Principle 2. Controlled emotional unpredictability. Vary your response patterns strategically. Sometimes collaborative, sometimes directive, sometimes warm, sometimes professionally distant. The psychological principle: predictable equals invisible, unpredictable equals memorable and respected. Your brain has limited attention resources. It stops paying attention to patterns it can predict, but unpredictable patterns keep the social dominance network actively engaged. Principle number 3 is so psychologically powerful that most executives never share it publicly. Principle 3. Competence display authority. Machiavelli emphasized that real power comes from demonstrated capability, not titles or aggression. Consistently showcase your strategic thinking, problem-solving ability, and professional expertise. But here's the key. Do it without asking for validation. Principle 4. Boundary enforcement psychology. Establish clear consequences for disrespect or poor performance, but never make it personal. People respect leaders who protect standards and values, not those who attack individuals. This triggers the protective alpha response. Strength used for principle, not ego. And here's the principle that will change everything. Principle 5. Strategic silence authority. Master the psychology of controlled communication. Don't fill every silence. Don't over-explain your decisions. Let your competence speak first, your words second. Psychological research shows that people attribute more intelligence and authority to those who speak less, but with greater impact. 6 months after missing his promotion, Marcus applied these principles. He started making his approval strategic, varied his response patterns, and stopped over-explaining every decision. Within 90 days, his team's perception shifted. Within 6 months, he was promoted to regional director, a position higher than the one he originally lost. But here's what happens if you don't apply this psychological framework. You'll stay trapped in the nice guy leadership prison forever, watching less qualified but more strategically minded men advance past you, wondering why your kindness isn't rewarded in the corporate world, not realizing you're fighting psychological warfare with outdated weapons while others use advanced neural science against you. But now you possess the psychological framework. You understand the exact brain science behind workplace respect. You have the 5 principles that reprogram how people's minds automatically categorize you. Marcus wished he'd discovered this before his career stalled. You're discovering it before yours does. Your next workplace interaction is a psychological test. Will you trigger the respect response or the protection response? Will you activate people's leadership recognition systems or their helper categorization? The neuroscience is fixed, but the choice is yours. If this psychological framework just revolutionized how you see leadership, subscribe for more Machiavellian principles applied to modern workplace psychology. The men who master these psychological principles control their professional destiny. The ones who remain nice get their destiny controlled by others. You now have the neural science. You understand the psychology. The only question remaining is, which category will you choose to be in?